Since it's Founders Month, I'm reading from the What is the Declaration of Independence, and we are on Chapter 5 for today, the First Continental Congress. After the Tea Party, King George III wanted revenge. The king was going to teach the colonists in Massachusetts a lesson. How did he punish them? Well, in 1774, he had a parliament pass new laws. The colonists called these the intolerable acts. Intolerable means something so horrible that you cannot stand it. Now, Boston Harbor was closed off. This was one of the major harbors in the northern colonies. Lots of countries sent ships to Boston to sell their goods. Boston was the third largest city in the colonies, behind Philadelphia and New York. So lots of business and trade took place in the city. The king decided there would be no trading until the Massachusetts colony paid back the money that they lost from dumping all of that tea. The tea was worth somewhere between $1 to $2 million worth in today's money. Massachusetts was then put under strict control by General Thomas Gage and the British Army. Now, all public meetings like the one that Sam Adams organized, they were now against the law. And now American colonists had to let British soldiers live in their homes. The colonists were shocked by the intolerable acts. Imagine being forced to let soldiers of the king that you hated live with you. Even if colonists in faraway South Carolina and Georgia were furious about what was happening, even colonists in faraway South Carolina and Georgia were furious about what was happening in Massachusetts. Something had to be done. In September 1774, representatives from all the colonies, except for Georgia, began holding meetings in Carpenter's Hall in Philadelphia. Philadelphia was the biggest city in the colonies, so it made sense for everyone to meet there. And there's Carpenter's Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. At Carpenter's Hall, near the center of the city, the organizers decided it was better to meet somewhere other than Independence Hall, which was the State House, because too many members of the State House were supporters of the king. The colonists wanted to decide how, as one group, should they fight back against King George. The meetings lasted for 2 months, and they became known as the First Continental Congress. A Congress is a meeting where people come to decide important questions about policies and laws. And here you can see again those original colonies all broken up, and that center part where you see as the star is Philadelphia. So that's where they're meeting. Of the 56 men who attended, some were already well known for their hatred of the British rule. Sam and John Adams of Massachusetts, Patrick Henry, Richard Lee, and George Washington, all from Virginia, were there. Some representatives wanted to split from Great Britain completely. They wanted to govern themselves and create their own laws, while others hoped to make peace with Great Britain. In the end, they reached a middle ground. A letter to King George III asked that the colonies should be represented in Parliament. Sam Adams thought asking this was a total waste of time. And here you can see them meeting in that First Continental Congress. Others, like Adams' cousin John, thought that it was worth trying. The letter also asked for an end to all British taxes on the colonies, for Boston Harbor to be reopened, and for all British troops to leave the colonies immediately. During the Congress, the colonists also agreed to boycott all British goods for 1 year to try to show the king how serious they were about their demands in their letter. The letter was delivered in November 1774. By January 1775, there had been no answer from the king or Parliament. Ben Franklin was in London at the time. He noted that the letter was presented in Parliament with a heap of other letters, but not much attention had been paid to it. Even months later, there was no official reply. King George and Parliament simply just ignored the letter. By saying nothing, the king was saying quite a lot. They pushed the colonists further down the road to war. After the First Continental Congress, militias were formed in every colony. A militia is a volunteer army that agrees to fight when needed. The delegates wanted to be sure that every colony was armed and prepared for the time if it came for them to fight the British. The First Continental Congress ended in October 1774, with delegates agreeing to meet again the following year. And that's an example of a militia, a voluntary army that agrees to fight whenever is needed. The last part is I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Patrick Henry. Patrick Henry was at the First Continental Congress. The Virginia lawyer hated British rule over the colonies more than most, maybe even more than Sam Adams. Henry fought against the Stamp Act and the Townshend Acts by making speeches and writing articles in Virginia newspapers. His angry speeches made him a star of the First Continental Congress. He begged the other delegates to split from Great Britain completely. A few months later, in March of 1775, Patrick Henry was delivering an amazing speech in his home colony. "I know what course others may take," he said, "but as for me, give me liberty or give me death." Henry was willing to give up his life for freedom from Great Britain. His words quickly became a rallying cry for the increasing number of colonists against British rule. When the Revolutionary War began, Henry organized militias in Virginia and forced the royal governor to leave the state. After the war, however, he opposed the Constitution, which laid out how the new United States government would work. That was because he believed in the right of states to make their own laws. He also said no to offers from both presidents, Washington and Adams, for him to work in the new government. Henry died in 1799 at the age of 63. And that's where that ends our story for today. The next time that I read to you, we'll hear Chapter 6, The Shot Heard Round the World. Thank you for watching.